Hello everyone, and welcome to another Pyro Gaming video. Every now and then, I like to make these videos where I show you guys the loadouts that I've been using in that particular season. The sandbox typically changes things up from season to season, but the past couple of seasons, Izanagi's, Recluse, and Wendigo have been the go-to for most people, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm completely burnt out on that loadout. So I've been experimenting with a lot of different loadouts lately, and that's what I'm going to show you guys in this video. So I'll start with my armor. This is my go-to armor. I do really like sniping in PvE. Even if I'm not using Izanagi's Burden, I can put on something like a Tranquility and still get the benefit from, all the sniper perks. So I typically build around either power ammo, my super, or my special weapon. What you're seeing right now, I'm built more around power ammo. If I'm not using Izanagi's, if I'm not taking up my exotic slot there, I will typically run Xenophage because it's really, really good. So I'm working on finding some good arc rolls here for probably this set, my Dream Bane set. If I can get a good arc roll there, then I can have the machine gun perks, but what I will typically do is just run Actium War Rig. If I have Xenophage equipped, I will run Actium because it reloads it automatically, and it actually reloads it so quickly that, well, I say so quickly, Xenophage actually shoots so slow that it's just a non-issue. Like, it just constantly reloads it to the point where you never have to reload. It's really handy. So if you want a Xenophage build, this is the one for Titans right here. I personally love Xenophage. I use it in a lot of pinnacle activities. If I'm doing a Master Nightmare hunt for the first 2 encounters of Garden of Salvation raid, and if I'm doing 980 Nightfalls, this is typically what I'm run because it just chews up orange bars. So we've replaced Izanagi's with a Tranquility, auto-loading holster, and firing line. I actually really like this roll. It's really fun. To replace Recluse, I will usually run this. Nation of Beast, it's the curated roll that you get from the Morgeth encounter in the Last Wish raid. It comes with Outlaw Dragonfly. It's a really fun weapon. But if I'm doing a Nightfall, and there's barrier mods or barrier champions or unstoppable champions, then I'm going to have to run a scout rifle. As memey as Oxygen SR3 is, since we have to use scout rifles this season, that's the one that I will put on so that I can play distance. So I have something for boss DPS, these two right here. I have something for majors, I have something for ads, and I have my mods. So this right here is essentially my Nightfall loadout. Now, if there's going to be arc shields instead of solar shields in that Nightfall, match game is on all the 980s, then I will change it up to this. I will run Nameless Midnight, Explosive Round, Zen Moment, Anti-Barrier, and Loaded Question, Auto-Loading, and Reservoir Burst. I think that this is a super underrated fusion rifle. I absolutely love Loaded Question, man. But this is a great loadout for match game because I have Void, I have Arc, I have Solar, I have everything. So I don't have to worry about, waiting on a teammate coming over to break a shield for me or anything like that. Now, when I'm doing Master Nightmare hunts, which I do weekly, then I will swap to this gear set just because it has my Dream Bane mods on it, and they give you a little bit of extra in the Nightmare hunts. That's the only reason I use this set. I will occasionally use it, like if I wanted to do machine gun loader or shotgun loader, if I wanted to run a shotgun, like say I was running this loadout right here, then I would toss these gloves on because they're arc. Like I said, I do want to get this whole set as arc. I want to get the whole Dream Bane set as arc from the Pit of Heresy dungeon. From the final boss, he drops a curated, not a curated, but a fully masterworked roll. So I'm waiting to replace these with arc rolls. I've gotten a few arc rolls, but they've been crap. So that's why I haven't kept them. But that's the only time I use this set right now, is if I need those Dream Bane mods in a Nightmare hunt. But like I said, once I get the arc set, a full arc set for this, I will use it more often because then it'll be the shotgun machine gun set, whereas this will be the sniper hand cannon set. So that's how that works. Some other loadouts that I've been using, like I said, I use this in the Nightfalls because we need to do the Barrier Rangers. In those Nightmare hunts and in the raids, you don't need to kill the champions. Well, I guess in the raid, the champions in there you do have to kill, or whatever. But in the Nightmare hunts, you don't have to kill them. It doesn't really matter. You just got to kill the last boss. So for the Nightmare hunts, I will switch things up a little bit more. I'll run something like my Better Devils, the Loaded Question, and Xenophage. I might swap that up depending on the boss, run Persuader. This is actually a really fun sniper rifle to use if you have filled prep and triple tap. You can fire this thing 10 times before you have to reload, and because it is that 140 archetype, it's kind of like Darcy. Like, it fires super fast, so it's really good for DPS. I really enjoy this thing. Alternatively, if we want to try to melt the boss, then I might run a machine gun for ad clear, and then something like Divinity in my special if my other teammates are running Izanagi's. Now, like I said, I don't like to use Izanagi's. I'm burnt out on it, so I will be the Divinity guy. I will be the bubble guy. You two can go do Izanagi's. I'm tired of using it. So I'll do this loadout, and then depending on what shields we're going to encounter in there, will determine which machine gun I use. I really like the curated Bane of Sorrow from Crown of Sorrow Raid, Outlaw Dragonfly. It's a really fun roll. I will also use 21% Delirium if I'm doing it specifically for ad clear, and I will also run either Edgewise or Avalanche, which I don't have room for because I'm full here, but both of those are solar. I obviously use those for solar shields. So that's what I do with that. Now, I will also run this. Let's see. This is also a loadout. I can't even fucking talk. This is also a loadout that I will use in Nightfalls, 980s. If I'm going to be the Divinity guy, I have something here to break the shields, and then I have something here for boss damage. Now, a lot of times in the Nightfalls, I will go ahead and throw in Helm of Saint 14. I will go ahead and run Doomfang Pauldron if I want to build around ad clear, and I will also use Crest of Alpha Lupi. Now, Crest of Alpha Lupi, honestly, this is Wormhusk Crown for Titans. This is a super underrated exotic, and I feel like it doesn't get near as much attention as it deserves. So this season we have Void Battery. We had it last year too, I think, or maybe we had Arc Battery last season. But Void Battery gives you a shield whenever you use your class ability, right? So whenever I use my class ability, actually let me swap over to Recluse so that I can hurt myself here. So the way that this works is whenever you have Void Battery on your class item and Crest of Alpha Lupi, you have basically a Wormhusk Crown build. So check it out. Whenever you're wounded, if you're doing pinnacle activities, you're almost dead, pop your banner or your barricade, man. You get the initial big overshield from the Void Battery. So you automatically get a shield as soon as you start doing it, and then it also gets you out of the red and gives you half of your health back right here. Plus, you're going to generate more orbs for your teammates. It's really fun. It's a really nice panic button for Titans, and it's really good in pinnacle activities. You know, if you're doing 980 stuff, this is really fun to have. I guarantee you it will save your ass multiple times. So another thing that I like to use, the grenade launchers here. I also have 11 Death with full court and spike grenades. I will use this specifically in the Garden of Salvation raid in the final boss because he's really far away and that full court really makes a difference. This one I will use in pretty much everything. It's got auto-loading holster. It pairs really well with this. So I can run something like this and not even need an exotic. It's super fun. I will also mix that up and put on Anarchy and run it with this exact roll. Or if I'm just going to be the dedicated arc guy in an activity, then I will run Austringer, Loaded Question, and Anarchy. And I will take it even further, man. I'll go with Striker. I like to use the Code of the Missile because it's memey and stupid. And then I will pair that with something like Insurmountable Skullfort, which is, I think, another underrated PvE exotic in in-game activities. What is it? Death from Above? Thundercrash. Thundercrash, paired with this, is actually super fun, man. It's really stupid, but it's super fun. This guy, that's a PvP guy, but I honestly don't use it. That's why it's only 1 energy. I don't use it. Some other specialty loadouts that I will use is something like this. Striker Surehand, or any sword for that matter with Stronghold, is really fun. Look how ugly that looks without a shader. Come on, man. Destiny. Gotta have a shader on my shit. Gotta match. Yeah, this is fun. Like, just to mess around with and like raids and stuff. You can survive a lot whenever you're using strongholds and blocking with a sword. And if you want to take it even further, do it and stand inside your bubble. You are virtually unkillable. It's super, super stupid. I do like Sleeper. I use Sleeper quite a bit. I actually really like Sleeper a lot. I will even take this into raids, and people are like, what, you're using Sleeper? Why don't you use Izanagi's hashtag YOLO, you know, hashtag optimal DPS? And I don't care, man. It's fun. I like to use fun stuff. And I think that that's something that we look past in this game these days. So this is my raid loadout. If I'm doing Garden of Salvation, I like to keep an armor set for that because we like to do the enhanced relay defender mod in my raid groups. So I have that on all 5 pieces of this armor. I'm going to do, for the boss, the final boss, I'm either going to do something like this, Tranquility, Recluse, and Anarchy. I'll tag the boss with 2 shots of Anarchy, then switch to this and burn out all of my ammo. By the time I burn all this ammo out, I'll switch back to that, tag him with 2 more shots. By the time I'm done with that, this has reloaded itself. I'll switch back to that, get 5 more rounds of ammo into him, and by then the damage phase is over. So that's my go-to for that. If I am going to use Izanagi's, if we're trying to one phase or something like that, then I will go with Izanagi's and Love and Death, or I will go with Izanagi's and Wendigo. I will start with Wendigo if I have 6 orbs already stacked up for Explosive Light, because you get hella damage if you have Explosive Light on them. So I'll spin these 6, and then I'll go and just burn all my Izanagi's ammo on the boss. For the boss prior to the final boss, I believe he's the Consecrated Mind, the big harpy dude. I'm pretty much always going to use Izanagi's, just because as that boss is running away, your teammates typically end up scattering, and it's hard to keep firing line going because you're paying attention to shooting the boss and not paying attention to where your teammates are. So I will use this just because it's really good DPS, and yeah. But I will also use Full Court for that one because he does get kind of far away, and I will also sometimes use Swarm of the Raven because it's void and the Minotaurs are void, and I typically do the moat team on all of the raid because I like running the moats. It's another reason that this I kind of prioritize mobility so that I can be faster and jump higher on the raid set specifically. As far as ghosts, I like my little servitor, man. He's fun. Plus, I back in like April or something like that, whenever they sold this in the Eververse store, if you went into the Bungie app or the Destiny app, you could actually select a different perk and you can kind of glitch this, and you can get Speed Demon and Guiding Light on this, and at the time it was the only ghost in the entire game that you could do that on. They've since sold one that actually has those 2 perks on there, Guiding Light and Speed Demon, but for like 6 months this was the only one, and people would always ask like, dude, how did you get both of those perks on it? And I would lie to them and say, oh, you just keep buying it from collections and eventually it'll roll with this, and they'd waste all their shit trying to buy this ghost with those perks and they would never get it. It was hilarious. I'm a troll sometimes, it's fine. So anyway, here's another role that I do like to use. I have this perfect paradox here with Field Prep, Trench Barrel, or 1-2 Punch. If I'm going with a 1-2 Punch build, let me get back to my main stuff here. The 1-2 Punch build used to be this guy, because it was super fun and super memey, but I don't know when or if we're going to get this guy back. So the 1-2 Punch build is kind of on the shelf for now, but I also have an Emperor's Courtesy. I forgot to grab it. You can stack these. So if you have a 1-2 Punch in your kinetic and a 1-2 Punch in your energy, then you can stack them. Now, if I'm going for a close range kill or a close range loadout, like if I want to be up in people's faces, then I will switch things up and I will run this. I'll run this middle tree right here in Sunbreaker, the big goofy ballerina guy. I will run a shotgun, I will run Sunshot, and I will run a sword. And that's typically going to be where I either throw on strongholds, or if I want to, what was the other one? If I want to be a little bit more nimble and, you know, like have an out if I get in too much trouble, I will run Lion Rampant. Now, if I'm going to run a build like this in in-game activities, I'm going to run Crest of Alpha Lupi because I need that panic button. I need that, oh shit, I'm about to die button. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's it. That's basically my loadouts. This is what I've been using. Did I miss anything? Did I miss any weapons that I did not talk about? I don't think. Oh, go figure. This is just an all-around workhorse weapon. I have it with Outlaw and Rampage. Pulse rifles are in this season as in terms of your artifact mods, so I can use this in the Nightfalls and stuff like that. And I also have this Offstringer, which I really enjoy using. It's not that great in PvE activities that are in-game, like 980. Hand cannons in general aren't that great. I mean, I like my Better Devils over my Offstringer just because of explosive rounds. I feel like explosive rounds is in a really good place right now compared to other things. So I'm sure that this is better whenever you get it going, but explosive rounds just feels really nice to me right now. I can't explain it. But yeah, that's it. That's it. I guess we'll talk about Crucible briefly. This is my Crucible armor, although I do not play a lot of Crucible. But when I do play Crucible, this is what I will run. So I will go with Bottom Tree Striker, because you get the shoulder charge, you get all this stuff. Oh wait, that's not shoulder charge. This one. This is the one I do. I don't do Crucible hardly at all, man. This is the shoulder charge one. Pyro. So I'll run that. Like I said, I don't use this. I honestly don't. So I will use something like this. Faster sprinting and chain melee damage. Sometimes you'll get a bonus kill from that. But I mainly use it for the faster sprinting. I feel like in PvP, you know, you want to go fast. This happens to be the roll that I got for my Iron Banner armor. And it came with 100 recovery as a possibility if I put recovery mods on all my shit. So I kept that because recovery is really, really good. So that's basically what I do. But in PvP, I have a Beloved that I use here, and then I have a Lonesome Sidearm that I use here. Power, I hardly ever go for power ammo, so I'll just throw in a machine gun or something as my power weapon. But this is the main thing. I build it around the sniper rifles, and I build it around the sidearms because that's what I like to use right now. So the last thing that I have to show you is how I do my class items. My class items are important to me. So this one, like I said, I have the Void Battery because I'm typically running Sentinel. So I have Void Battery on this one, but if I'm doing any in-game content, like 980, anything like that, then I'm going to switch to this one because it has Special Finisher, or I might take Void Battery off of this and put Special Finisher on it. You can't afford both, but Special Finisher is really good. These are about the same. There's nothing special. The only thing that's special about this is I have the Remote Connection perk on my class item for Crucible because sniping. Down here, I have one of each class item for each armament and barrier type. Hive armaments, fallen armaments, taken armaments. I can go in here and put barrier on these. I don't have hive barrier yet because it just absolutely will not drop for me. But like I can put hive or fallen barrier on this, and I can put taken barrier on this. I just keep those on my class item because it's an easy swap. I know exactly where they are, and I could swap to it, throw my grenade, get my power ammo, swap back to whatever I was doing. And I always keep them in this order too on all three of my characters: Hive, Fallen, Taken. I'm OCD, as you can see, like everything is in order. Like my Crucible is in the second slot in every one, my Raid's in the third slot in every one. I'm OCD, man. I really and truly am. It's not fun sometimes, but my shit's always organized. Like when I'm done for the day, I go back to this and I put everything back in my vault. That's going to do it for this video, guys. Drop a comment in the box below. Let me know of some fun Titan builds that you have been using. And if you guys enjoyed this video, I might do the same type of video for Warlocks and Hunters in the near future. If you enjoyed this video, click like. If you're new to the channel, click subscribe. And if you are already subscribed, I fucking love you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and take care.